giving us the prayer. Again, thank you. Next, Carrie French, National Anthem.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming out. I love my Second Amendment. How about you? We're not giving up our guns. So make sure you vote. Make sure you get out there and support people who will vote the right way, because we got a lot of folks here who are not voting the right way. Please uncover if you're not armed. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Next, the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is to the rear. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite Mike Stark from Crazy Faith Ministries that is going to give us the prayer.
Woo! Go, Mike.
All right, good morning, Patriots.
Morning.
So my name is Michael Stark, and I'm honored to be here today. I'm the representative for Crazy Faith Ministries. If you guys know Crazy Faith, Chief was not able to be here today himself, so he asked if I'd represent Crazy Faith, and it's an honor. Crazy Faith is a Second Amendment outreach right here in Olympia, Washington. And that's important, not just to be an outreach, but to our family, but also our generations to come. And that is why Chief wanted to make sure that we have a representation for this great event. To partner with other like-minded patriots that are standing united, not divided, for this important issue. There are too many that are attempting to cause division in this matter. And notice my word, I said attempting. But there are what some may see as a few that are willing to make a stand, and that's you guys. A few dedicated and relentless individuals is what brought about this nation's foundation and gave us the right to bear arms. And no one, and I mean no one, shall take that away, period. Crazy Faith is a faith-based outreach that goes to the people, usually in not so desirable settings. And as we go bearing arms, Chief is, as we call him, a machine gun minister. And he brings others with him. But we do this not to roll heavy because we're scared to die. No, we know where we're going. We're going to heaven. We roll heavy because our job is to keep others safe around us, because we are not sure if they're ready to go. Where are you willing to go? Our prayers are with us and with you all as you continue to make this stand. Prayers that are ready as well when the time comes, as well as not guarantee the next second, let alone the next day. Prayers that have the endurance to finish the race strong, and prayers that you stay determined and relentless for not just yourselves, but for future generations that are counting on us to make a stand successfully for them. Put on the full armor of God, crew, every day. It says in Ephesians 5:11-14 to stand. Making that stand for what is right is not always popular. It may feel like you're standing alone at times. always under fire, always under controversy. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. Don't stand idle and let these rights be taken from you. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms is to not be infringed upon.
Right.
Your stand is not unnoticed. It's appreciated by us at Crazy Faith. And we're always praying for you. You see, Crazy Faith has made a stand right here in the city of Olympia, just down the street. And we're going on our 9th year feeding our homeless people, our street family. Every Thursday night, rain, shine, tornado, tsunami, our team is always there. You can follow us on Facebook at Crazy Faith Outreach, or you can go to iamcrazyfaith.com. Our website is not up to date and as cool as we prefer, but it's always a place where you can get extra information. We don't have any business cards, but Chief wanted me to bring some bracelets, and I have those right here, so you can look for me after this, and I'll get you them. Chief wants all of you to know we love you, we're proud of you, and keep making this stand as we stand with you. So let's all join together and let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask for favor with this Second Amendment outreach. We ask for favor with legislature, with the state, and with this great nation. Father, we ask for guidance and direction. And Father, we ask you to amplify the determination and the relentlessness for this cause. And Father, we are asking for blessings. Blessings for making the stand, not just for ourselves, but for our children's children's children. Thank you, Lord, for having us united, not divided in these trying times. And thank you for showing up and showing us favor. In Yeshua's mighty name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, thank you guys so much for coming out. I know our event got deleted by Facebook, but we still made it out here. So just one thing, Bob Ferguson for Prison 2020. I think we can all agree on that, right? Okay, so we have, the first speaker is Derek LeBron from the Kids Safe Foundation.
All right. Greetings, fellow patriots. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about something that's I'm working very hard in Oregon, and it's about protecting our kids. My name is Derek LeBlanc. I'm the president of the Kids Safe Foundation. We're a 501c3 nonprofit based out of Eugene, and so we teach firearm safety and accident prevention to kids. And so my journey to get here today began about 6 years ago on a cold, dark morning where I was put in a position where I needed a firearm and I didn't have it. And so basically I caught an intruder inside my vehicle, and I put him on the ground, and I fought with him for about 10 minutes until my girlfriend came out and saved me with a pistol grip shotgun. And it was that time that it transformed me into where I am today and put me in front of you guys. And so I'm very thankful to be here, and God has kind of led me here. And so basically what we do is we're a nonprofit. We teach firearm safety, and the goal of our foundation is to reach every kid, and it's through the message. And the message is non-political. It's strictly about safety. And so that way we're able to reach kids that might not have any exposure to firearms and teach them, what not to do if they're ever put in a position where they come across an unsecured firearm. Okay, so the 4 rules we always cover: stop, don't touch, run away, tell a grown-up. And it's very similar to like what other organizations do, but we're very delicate with the approach, and that's opened so many doors for us. In December, I wrote a bill, Senate Bill 801, which would authorize education in the 1st grade for all of our public schools. And so I'm very, very fortunate that I took it from a coffee shop on an iPad all the way through the steps. And I worked the steps. I'm not a politician, right? But I believe wholeheartedly in being able to protect our kids, and that's through education. And it's my belief that as gun owners, we have to have a seat at the table when it comes to restriction and confiscation and regulation, okay? And so that's my job, and that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to break down these barriers that are put in front of us by our legislators, okay? Gun control is the biggest hoax ever perpetrated on the American people. Okay? I can prove that through data. Data drives everything that we do. Okay? I can show in states and cities that have high instances of restriction and regulation that their kids are very, very vulnerable because of of lack of education. And so going forward, that's where we're going. We're headed, and we're keeping track of our data. You know, since the beginning of our program, I've reached over about 15,000 kids and taught them those 4 basic safety rules that would protect them if they ever come across the firearm. And you know, and we also follow up on the range. So we're actually engaging, and we're getting our kids to the range, and we're teaching them safety disciplines as well. And the goal is to show safety, discipline, and respect when it comes to our firearms, and showcase good kids doing good, positive things when it comes to our firearms. Okay? And so I'm here today because I would love to reach your families. And my goal would be to come across the border from Oregon to Washington to help you implement what I'm trying to do in Oregon. And so that's my goal. And so I'm really, really thankful to be here. I see a lot of patriots. I see a lot of people that love freedom. They love their country, and I love my country as well. And so part of that is I have to be able to make a difference in my own community, and that's what I'm trying to do. And that's why I'm here for you, because I want to help you guys make a difference in your community. Okay? And so, in closing, I want to just thank everybody that reached out to me and offered me this opportunity to be able to speak on behalf of what I do. And hopefully we can start the dialogue here in Washington, and we can help educate your kids and lower statistics, which ultimately is going to protect our rights. Because 0 firearm accidents is the only acceptable goal, and that's our goal. And so you can find us more on our website, kidsafefoundation.org. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find us there and help spread the message. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
Okay, so we have some legislators here today, but they're in the middle of a vote, so I'm going to skip over them. And then it is going to be Nikki Stallard from the Pink Pistols. Nikki, are you out there? Nikki Stallard.
She's coming.
Okay, she's on her way.
March for our rights. How's everybody doing? Excellent, excellent. Quick show of hands. How many of you have heard of Pink Pistols? Outstanding. Now, for those of you who don't know who Pink Pistols are, we are LGBTQ gun rights. We are a centric organization, not exclusive, because we believe that everybody has the human right of self-defense. Not a right of self-defense, but a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And those are rights not given to us from government, but from God. Our rights come from nature, and the government has no right to infringe on any of our human rights. Dog's barking. Hey, friendly dog. Now, show of hands. How many of you don't trust your government? How many of you view our government servants as insubordinate? How many of you feel that our government has evolved from being servants to trying to be our masters, our overlords? How many of you believe that the deep state tried to steal the presidential election? What would have happened if they had succeeded? President Hillary Clinton, what do you guys think? I believe that we had divine intervention, and God said, no, Hillary each other's natural rights, even people we disagree with. Show of hands. So I'm asking, from a point of love, okay, we need to show love to all Americans. And if you are an American, we love you regardless of your race, color, creed, or whatever. Some people say that you are the intolerant ones, that you're the deplorable ones. But I feel love, I feel respect, I feel openness. We can agree to disagree. Show of hands, do you agree? We are here today, and this is not about defending our rights. It's about standing our ground and then going back.
Educating his peer group. Also, we have Carrie Sloan, We the Females. So they also have a booth down here. Please go visit them and support. We have Chad Hammond from the Second Amendment Organization coming down also from Oregon. They have their booth, so please support all the folks that are down here with their booths. Stop by, check them out, sign up, and work things. And we have Tim Schmidt from United States Concealed Carry Association. So a lot of you guys were sending a whole bunch of message saying, you know, what's the status with gun owner insurance and what's been going down.
Where I am today and put me in front of you guys. And so I'm very thankful to be here, and God has kind of led me here. And so basically what we do is we're a nonprofit. We teach firearm safety, and the goal of our foundation is to reach every kid, and it's through the message. And the message is non-political. It's strictly about safety. And so that way we're able to reach kids that might not have any exposure to firearms and teach them, you know, what not to do if they're ever put in a position where they come across an unsecured firearm. Okay, so the 4 rules we always cover is stop, don't touch, run away, tell a grown-up, and it's very similar to like what other organizations do. We're very delicate with the approach, and that's opened so many doors for us. In December, I wrote a bill, Senate Bill 801, which would authorize education in the 1st grade for all of our public schools. And so I was very, very fortunate. I took it from a coffee shop on an iPad all the way through the steps. And I worked the steps, and I'm not a politician, right? But I believe wholeheartedly in being able to protect our kids, and that's through education. And it's my belief that as gun owners, we have to have a seat at the table when it comes to restriction and confiscation and regulation, okay? And so that's my job, and that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to break down these barriers that are put in front of us by our legislators, okay? Gun control is the biggest hoax ever perpetrated on the American people, okay? I can prove that through data. Data drives everything that we do, okay? I can show in states and cities that have high instances of restriction and regulation that their kids are very, very vulnerable because of lack of education. And so going forward, that's where we're going. We're headed, and we're keeping track of our data. You know, since the beginning of our program, I've reached over about 15,000 kids and taught them those 4 basic safety rules that would protect them if they ever come across the firearm. And you know, and we also follow up on the range. So we're actually engaging, and we're getting our kids to the range, and we're teaching them safety disciplines as well. And the goal is to show safety, discipline, and respect when it comes to our firearms, and showcase good kids doing good, positive things when it comes to our firearms. Okay? And so I'm here today because I would love to reach your families. And my goal would be to come across the border from Oregon to Washington to help you implement what I'm trying to do in Oregon. And so that's my goal. And so I'm really, really thankful to be here. I see a lot of patriots. I see a lot of people that love freedom. They love their country, and I love my country as well. And so part of that is I have to be able to make a difference in my own community, and that's what I'm trying to do. And that's why I'm here for you, because I want to help you guys make a difference in your community. Okay? And so, in closing, I want to just thank everybody that reached out to me and offered me this opportunity to be able to speak on behalf of what I do. And hopefully we can start the dialogue here in Washington, and we can help educate your kids and lower statistics, which ultimately is going to protect our rights. Because 0 firearm accidents is the only acceptable goal, and that's our goal. And so you can find us more on our website, kidssafefoundation.org. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find us there and help spread the message. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
Going on offense and taking back what is rightfully ours. It is not only about us, it's about our children. The issue is not about our guns, it's about our freedom. It's about our Constitution, the values this country is founded on. It's about saving our free republic. Show of hands, if you went to your friends or family, how many of you honestly could tell the people the difference between a republic and a socialist democracy? Because we need outreach. When we talk with people, what we say to them, when people say, I like democracy, democracy comes from Latin and it means mob rule. And if you listen to fools, the mob rules. That's right. Do we want mob rules? No, we want individual rights, individual liberty. So, today, we draw a line in the sand. We're going to fix the left coast. Would you agree? I would like all of you to turn around to each other and high-five each other for being here. Because this is your rally. You have the blood, the spirit of those patriots who stood their ground April 19, 1775. So let's hear it for yourself. USA! USA! Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to clear here. Okay, the Second Amendment is more than just our individual right to defend ourselves and our families. It is our constitutional duty to protect our free republic. It is our duty to protect our republic from enemies foreign and domestic. I view being an American as a privilege bestowed onto me by God himself. How about you? There are billions of people all around the world who would trade places with any one of us to be here. So we have a duty to God and our country, our children, to keep America free. Now in closing, I'd like to thank Alan Acosta and his crew for putting this great event together. Let's give them a hand. We have made many groups here along the side. Please visit them, sign up, get involved, because we need to reach out. Okay, we can reach across the cultural, political, social spectrum, because our cause is just, our cause is right. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. God bless America.
We got a guy here tonight, huh? How you doing? Nice job on the singing. As usual.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. The next speaker we have is Savannah Lindquist from the Ladies of Liberty Alliance. Savannah Lindquist.
I just ended up getting seen a couple people on.
Okay, can y'all hear me? Awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna hold it because I'm too short. Okay, so thank you guys so much for coming out today in defense of our rights to self-defense. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Savannah and I'm 24 years old. But I am here today due to the worst thing that's ever happened to me. In 2016, I
was raped by a man I'd been casually dating. It was my senior year in college, and I was just months away from graduating. I had my dream major at my dream school with a job I loved, and one night it all came crashing down. That night, I became a statistic. I became the one of the 1 in 6 of every American woman who have been a victim of a completed or attempted rape in her lifetime. I was raised around guns. I essentially grew up with a gun in my hand. My beloved 32 was actually my 10th birthday present from my papa, which is the nickname that I gave my grandfather. I grew up knowing that bad things can happen, and that's why my dad, my grandpa, and my grandma all carried guns. I knew they took on that responsibility so they could protect me, God forbid they ever needed to. But even then, I never thought anything bad would actually happen to me. It was one of those things that only happened to other people. But suddenly, after that night, my views on firearms shifted from the hypothetical to being something rooted in trauma so deep I thought I would never recover. When I first started speaking out, I expected my fellow feminists to come behind me, but I was unfortunately wrong. Much to my surprise, it was actually the members of the gun community that helped me hold myself together. It was members of the gun community that gave me a shoulder to cry on. It was the gun community that helped me pick my life back up, dust myself off, and move forward. It was organizations like We the Female and the Ladies of Liberty Alliance that stood and continued to stand with me. I was sort of surprised and heartbroken to see that the feminist groups that spoke so passionately about believing survivors suddenly didn't seem to care about me. Since my assault made me realize that the importance of self-defense, it was like the trauma that I'd experienced didn't matter as much. Gun ownership should not be a left versus right issue. It's a human rights issue. I am here today because if I brought my gun to college with me instead of following the law, I would be able to say not me instead of me too. I feel like if I just stand up here and talk about how I was raped and how my gun could have saved me, I'd be preaching to the choir. And I did not fly over 2,000 miles yesterday to get here to just preach to the choir. I want to stand up here and encourage the gun community as a whole to reach out to people like me. I'm a woman, I'm a feminist, I am a survivor, and taking a look around, I'm willing to bet that I'm probably pretty far to the left politically of most of you. But I'm a gun owner, and the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. Amen. That is why I choose to utilize my right to self-defense. That's why I testified in front of Congress this year trying to stop the Pelosi-backed H.R. 8. I refuse to be a victim again. I refuse. And the gun that I carry on my hip allows me to say never again. Thank you. All right, so the next speaker we have is Representative Matt Shea of the LD4.
Not everybody on the west
How's
side.
everybody doing? So, a couple days ago, there were a lot of death threats against me and my family,
and they said I needed to run and not come to this rally. Well, you can see what I think of that right now, can't you? Now, I want to be clear on a couple things. The right to bear arms is unalienable. It means it exists outside of government for every single human being. Doesn't matter what your religion, doesn't matter what your gender, doesn't matter what your ethnicity, and that's why it exists, to protect you even if you're a minority. Amen? Yeah. Now, I've seen a lot of attempts at gun control this year here in Olympia. And I want to say that the attempt to disarm people, those people actually are attempting to divide us. And we cannot let that happen, can we? If the Constitution means what it says, it's meant to protect every person. It's meant to protect every person against an overreaching government. In fact, it exists for this very moment when they want to try to take our firearms. I've been called a lot of things over the last couple of days, but one of the proudest I was called was Patriot. And it's great to see all you Patriots out here today. What we must not let them do is through fake news or lies or intimidation or bullying is to divide us. We need to learn how to heal our wounds as a nation, as a state. Stop trying to demonize people by calling them names just because they disagree with you, but honestly call out untruth. Honestly call out those who are trying to go away from the Constitution, because that's what's dividing us. Now I want to end with just something very simple. The other day, I was talking with some good friends of our family who happen to be Vietnamese. I was talking to some good friends of our family who happen to be Hispanic. I was talking to some good friends of our family who happen to be Chinese. I was talking to some good friends of our family who happen to be black. Let's not use that anymore. I don't care. We're Americans. We are Americans. We are Americans. So I want you to turn to the person next to you and shake their hand and say, "Thank you for being here, American." Let's do that right now. All right, let the healing begin. Let our Constitution reign, and let God Almighty above continue to protect us in our right to bear arms. Thank you guys. God bless you. Appreciate you. Love you.
Okay, next speaker is Matt Marshall from Law 3%.
What was the organization? 3%. Oh, I thought you said 3% or something.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Matt Marshall. I'm the state leader for the Washington 3%, vice chairman for the 2nd Legislative District Republicans, 12-year combat veteran, geez, I can't even say it, speak right now, husband, father, and staunch supporter of the Second Amendment. Every time I speak, there is controversy regarding the 3%. Most of this stems from misinformation. So first I'll start with a little bit about our organization. We are a 501c4 pending, nonprofit corporation based here in Washington. We work with Second Amendment issues as well as homeless and veterans outreach. But our mission is to support our communities, prepare our communities, and if the time ever came, we would defend our communities. What we are not an anti-government militia group. Actually, we are very pro-government. So as long as the government follows the restrictions set in the Constitution. We support the U.S. Constitution, and we expect our government to do the same. We are not tinfoil hat conspiracy nuts. We are an inclusive group, and we welcome all races, nationalities, religions, and lifestyle preferences. If you are a Constitution-supporting American patriot, we welcome you. Some believe that we're a militia. Who here knows what the definition of the militia is? That's right. U.S. Title 10 Code states the militia is every able-bodied man of 17 and under 45 years of age, not a member of the National Guard or the Naval Militia. Here in Washington, RCW 3804.030 states the militia of the state of Washington shall consist of all able-bodied citizens of the United States and all other able-bodied persons who have declared their intent to become citizens, as long as they reside here. The Washington State Constitution, Article 10 states, all able-bodied male citizens 18 to 45 years of age. So yes, some of the members of Washington 3% are the militia, but many of you are as well. My favorite definition comes from a patriot political prisoner that some of you may have heard of, Schaefer Cox. The militia is every human with a rifle and a conscience. Sorry, the wind's getting at me. So, why are we here? We're here for freedom. We're also here because we're angry. The people are angry that we have politicians pushing partisan laws down our throats that negatively affects our ability to defend ourselves. We're angry that we're being taxed every time we turn around. Angry that our taxes are being decided by and used to fund special interest. We're angry that our taxes are being used by our governor to jet set around the country with an expensive protective detail while he campaigns for president. I agree with that. The average citizen, right or left leaning to political ideals, has one thing that we can all agree on right now. We are all disenfranchised. We do not feel like our voices are being heard. Our government at all levels is out of control, and we need to regain that control. Our government is designed to be of the people and for the people. What it has become is of the elite and for the special interest. Rights are being trampled, conservative speech is being attacked and stifled at universities all around our country. Our Second Amendment is infringed upon by gun grabbers who have no knowledge about firearms, pushing an agenda based purely on emotion and without any fact or evidence, while doing nothing to disarm the criminals. Our Fourth Amendment's thanks to cell phones and the apps that track our every move. All that information is then turned and sold to the government. And I'm not even getting into land rights. The Constitution is not a document that grants our Bill of Rights. Our rights are inherent birthrights. The Constitution protects us from the government taking our birthrights. That is correct. The Constitution is supposed to restrict the government. Yet, over the last 240 years, we have become complacent. Now we're in a country where everybody believes that we have a democracy. Well, we have always had a constitutional republic. The mob is actually correct when they chant, "This is what democracy looks like." It looks like mob rule, because that's what it is. We have become complacent, and now the people have become willing, the sheep are willing to surrender their rights. Thomas Jefferson was correct when he said the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Our Attorney General in this state is leading the charge to force the surrender of unalienable rights. He seems to be incapable of comprehending the definition of infringed or impaired. He actively lobbies to destroy the integrity of our state constitution, our federal constitution. Speaker's down, but it's not me. We will not be quiet about this. Bob Ferguson has no business holding his office. He is facing multiple civil and criminal complaints as well as many ethics violations. We need him out of office, and let me be clear. All efforts to remove Bob Ferguson will be done, and we will use the laws and powers endowed upon us by our forefathers. We will use the laws the way they were intended, for the people and by the people. Because Bob Ferguson is aware of the power inherent in all of us, and that I'm out here standing up for our rights, Bob Ferguson actually referred me to the FBI. It was all over a Twitter post calling for his removal from office. Bob Ferguson I believe it's time we talk. You have many town hall meetings that the 3% will, be attending. Or better yet, I challenge you, Bob Ferguson, to a public debate. I want to debate you regarding the Constitution of the United States as well as the Washington State Constitution. We both took oaths to uphold the United States Constitution. So I would hope that we both understand it. Know that patriots all over the state are tired of you weaponizing your office, using the Washington State Patrol as a private army to enforce unconstitutional laws. We are not afraid of you, neither are the sheriffs across the state. Anyone who speaks out against the machine right now is stifled. Republicans who spoke today were urged to not speak by a group of 29 leftist organizations who have spewed their animosity towards the 3% and Patriot Prayer. They do this on purpose. CARE has slanderously spread misinformation about our organization and about all of you who came out here to support your rights. They do this to scare freedom-loving Americans out of attending. Look what they just did to Matt Shea. They want to burn him for sticking to conservative values and nothing else. They take a few comments out of text and they run with it. No fact-checking, they stump straight to scare tactics and label lynching. They call us the violent extremists, and I want to know, when was upholding the Constitution considered extreme? Label lynching is causing a divide, not our presence at this rally. We the people have been divided by partisan politics, and there's one way forward. We must use the tools given by our forefathers. We must hold our government accountable. We must exercise our rights. Our rights are like a muscle. If we do not exercise our rights, they will waste away until they are non-existent. When the people fear the government, we have tyranny. When the government fears the people, we have liberty. To quote Patrick Henry, and in conclusion, is life so dear, peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but for me, give me liberty or give me death! Along with me, we are everywhere. We are the 3%.
Friday late at night when everybody's asleep. They think they can just do that. So the Supreme Court did that in the middle of the night. So we need to tell them that that's not acceptable at all. Okay, so the next speaker is Jim Walsh of the LD19.
How y'all doing? Thanks for being here. I forgot one thing. Alright, that feels better. So I'm Jim Walsh. I'm a state representative from the 19th District. That's down along the coast, kind of Aberdeen down to Long Beach and then over to Longview and Kelso. And I want to thank you all for being here. This is a happy day. This is a good thing that we're doing here today. And I don't want to, we'll hear people who are worried about our rights, and our rights are essential. But I think this is a day to celebrate. Are you here to protect your foundational rights? Are you here to protect your right to life? Your right to liberty? Your right to the pursuit of happiness? And I want you to stay happy. Because that's tricks and snares and taxes and lies and taxes and lies and taxes. All right, you say lies, you say taxes. Taxes, lies, taxes, lies, taxes, lies. They want to entrap us. They want to make us sad as they're sad. They want to make us low as they're low. They want to make us scared as they're scared. But are you scared? You're not scared because you live in liberty. I want you to think too about liberty. It's a deep thing. It's a deep concept. It's a deep belief. You know, philosophers talk about negative liberty. And that is essential. That is the thing that was the founding principle of this country and of this state. And what negative liberty means is the right you have to be left alone, to be free from government interference, from government orders, from government commands. Free to live your life as you choose to live it. And that is what makes this country strong. It's what makes this state strong. It's what makes families strong. It's what makes women strong. It's what makes men strong. And all of us strong. Because what the founders of our country and our state knew is that the self-ownership, the self-realization, the self-actualization of the individual is the most important thing that a society and a culture can provide. The people on the other side, they want to put you into boxes and categories and silos. They want to separate people by making people believe that they are part of a group identity. But that's false. People, free people, people who live in liberty are individuals. Keep that in mind. I don't mind. You are all my fellows. You're my fellow patriots. You're my fellow citizens. You're my brothers and sisters, as are we all. All of us who live in liberty. I don't care what the color of your skin is. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. If you value the individual and you value voluntary contracts among individuals, and if you value the primacy of the family and individual choice in all things, then you are my brother and you are my sister. Let's not let the other side divide us.
We will not comply!
There you go. You are the master of your own person, of your own property, and of your own destiny. All we can do over there is give you a level playing field and a fair shake. No promises of outcomes, no promises of results, but a promise of a level playing field and transparent government that you can watch and see and ultimately control, because you control what goes on in that building. That building does not control you. Our message is resonating. Our message is growing. And be happy in this. Be proud of this. Another trick that the other side, the statists and the collectivists try to do is they try to make you feel less. They try to make you feel like you are the odd one. You are not the odd one. You are a free citizen living in a free nation. You are the proudest, highest achievement of natural law natural God's creation. You are the high point of man's evolution and development. You know, be proud. Be strong, be certain. Don't let them give you doubt. A little doubt can be a healthy thing. A little skepticism can be a healthy thing. But don't doubt the rightness of who you are and what you're doing. We are all God's people. We are all brothers and sisters under the skin. And remember that. Remember that when you see the protesters, when you see the angry ones, when you see the small ones. Be kind. Be kind to them. They're learning. They know not what they do. But they will eventually, in most cases, they will eventually see the right way. I believe in the good in all people. And I want you to remember, there is good in all people. That's the genius of our system. See the best. Encourage the best. Encourage people to live and worship their God in their way, live in the family that they choose, protect their property and the ones closest to them in the way that they feel is best. Let your neighbors be free, and that freedom will come back to you. It's a beautiful day. Listen to the rest of the speakers, but most importantly, talk amongst yourselves. Meet the person next to you. Introduce yourself. Talk about where you're from and what you want to do. Because among us, in this group, is the future of Washington and the future of the United States. God bless you all. Be well. And I'm going to go back and try to knock down some more taxes.
Thank you!
Why do they make me follow Jim Walsh? A lot of you were here last year, I remember. You remember what I announced? I announced my candidacy for state representative in the 39th Legislative District. I said that if we win, we're going to take our fight to Olympia. Do you remember that? Yeah. Can I make another announcement? Yeah. We won. That's the good news. Now that I'm on the inside. We were here last night arguing on the floor trying to keep your taxes down till 6 this morning. It was a 21-hour day. We're tired, but we're not too tired. We're going to continue to fight for you guys. The Democrats raised your taxes about $2-3 billion last night while you guys were sleeping in the dead of the night.
No more taxes!
They're stealing our money.
Yes.
They're stealing our rights, they're taxing us out of our homes and our businesses, and they appear hell-bent on destroying the rule of law.
Vote those assholes out!
Let me tell you this. If they wish to steal our flag and our laws and our children's freedoms, then they're going to have to go through us first. Let's talk about the rule of law for a minute that they're so hell-bent on destroying, can we? Bear with me, I'm going to quote some Constitution for you. Article 6 in the U.S. Constitution. And I'm doing this for the cameras, I'm doing this for the news medias. A lot of people, you guys know all this, they don't, so bear with me, okay? This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, shall be the supreme law of the land. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary, notwithstanding. Now what does that mean? Any and all laws made by the federal government or the state of Washington that are not in pursuance of the U.S. Constitution are notwithstanding. They are null and void. They are illegal. And we are under no obligation to adopt, follow, or obey such illegal laws. Thomas Jefferson said, "Every law consistent with the Constitution will have been made in pursuance of the powers granted by it. Every usurpation or law repugnant to it cannot have been made in pursuance of its powers. The latter will be nugatory and void." I'm going to give you precedents here. So that was Thomas Jefferson. In 1803, U.S. Supreme Court, Marbury versus Madison. A decision. All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. 1886, U.S. Supreme Court, Norton versus Shelby County. An unconstitutional act is not a law. It is in legal contemplation as inoperative, as though it had never been passed. The Democrats here in Olympia are passing law after law that is not in pursuance of the U.S. Constitution or the Constitution of this great state, Washington. They can now break down your door and seize all your weapons even before a crime has been committed. And if you try to defend yourself or your family or your property, they will kill you without hesitation. The Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Yet today the Democrats are infringing upon our God-given right to keep and bear arms. Article 1, Section 8, it explains the role of the militia, that it was to repel, among other things, the role of the militia was to repel invasions. After the Revolutionary War, if British came back and they were to perhaps defeat our young military, then it was up to the people to repel a second British invasion. And if the American people were to be successful, they needed every weapon of war available to them at the time. Don't talk to me about limited magazines or bump stocks or silencers. Every weapon of war is at our disposal per the law. Today's mission of the American people remains exactly the same, to repel invasions. Thus, Americans today also need to be fully equipped with every armament available to us today in order to be successful at accomplishing our mission, safeguarding the homeland, our families, our property, and our lives. This isn't my opinion for any press out there. I'm not giving you my personal opinion. It is the law. It is the highest law of the land. No citizen initiative, no court decision, no governor, no legislature, no president, nor any Congress can ever take our rights from us. They are natural rights. They are God-given rights. And no one can ever take them from us. That is, not unless we let them. Fellow patriots, I have a question for you. Are we going to let them take our rights? Pledge with me today. Not on our watch. Louder. Not on our watch. Loud as you can. Not on our watch. Thank you, you guys. God bless you. Thank you for being here.
speaker is Aria Rodi, libertarian youth activist.
Good morning, Patriots.
Morning.
My name's Aria Rodi. I'm a proud member of the Washington 3% and a proud member of the Washington State Libertarian Party. I'm here today to inform you all on how us Washingtonians, we're a different breed of people. And I'd strongly like to remind all them people in that big old beautiful building behind us that a right cannot be taken away. It can only be surrendered. And I made this very apparent in Seattle on my last speaking event. Us, we're not surrendering our rights. They're gonna have to come take them. And I don't plan to hand over my firearms without giving out a fight. My main talking point here today is the indoctrination that us, my generation, is facing in school. How many of you have children in high school? Okay, a few of you. Now, I know for a fact every high school across the country has what's called a social justice club. It's a comedy club. For the last couple weeks, I've been facing a lot of harassment. They've been making fake posts about me. They've been threatening me. They've been trying to attack me and my girlfriend. And she was their friend. The leader of her, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. Her name's Jessie Johnson. She likes to, she tries to deface me. I went to the school about it, being real polite. I'm a nice gentleman. And the school told me to forget about it. I only had 2 months till graduation. No point to do it. Don't talk about it, just bury it. The next thing I know, they start putting up end gun violence posters all over the school. And a couple of my buddies, they took those posters down, and then guess who they instantly blame? The Jewish kid, AKA me. So there's a petition up to get the superintendent fired. Her name's Dr. Joe Mocha. I hate her. Another point I'm touching on. So we're all here together to fight for the same reason, to protect our rights, our liberty, and who we are. We're standing together because each of us, look around, we're all fighting for the exact same reason. We want to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and our property, and no one can tell us what we can or cannot do with our own property. So I've been here for a little bit, and I've noticed a couple people have some masks on. And I'd greatly appreciate you to take those masks off. Because when you work for a righteous cause, you have no need to hide your face. You should take that mask off, I'm telling you right now. If you're a true American and you believe in this cause, you do not need to hide your face. I think you should really take off those masks, just to be honest. Okay, that's a little controversial, but I like it. So, and the news won't tell you this, but here in Washington State, the right side, we're winning, but they won't tell you that. We have sanctuary cities popping up all over the place. We have sheriffs who care about their people, that they swore to protect with that Constitution. They're coming out and they're speaking out to protect us. And what we need to do as a whole is come together as a community to help encourage the ones who are scared. I reached out to my local sheriff on Whidbey Island. He said he just got elected. He can't do that. It'd be a power position that he'd be taking advantage of. And I said, that's cowardly of you. What you need to do is use your position. You were voted into that position and the people want you to do this. But he's too scared to do it. He's too scared of the backlash because of people like Jay Inslee and Bob Ferguson threatening them. Coming through here, I saw what Seattle looked like. We all know what's happened in Seattle. It's become a dump. I would not feel safe walking down that street by myself. And now we got Jay Inslee thinking he can run for president. But last I checked, his polls were at 0.
Jay Inslee's a clown.
Like what Matt said, I would love to openly debate Jay Inslee or Bob Ferguson. Any subject, I'll do it. Give me 20 minutes to prep. I promise you I can destroy him in a debate.
He'd never do it.
A big problem with my generation today is the mass indoctrination. They feel like just because in schools it's taught. I was reading in the history book the other day, they had the Constitution wrong. They had the Second Amendment written wrong. It mentioned nothing about how the militia is necessary to a free state. And to any lawmakers that hear this or see it on video, I ask you to look at the Washington State Constitution, Section 24, which strongly reads that it's the right of the people to keep and bear arms, which shall not be infringed, but that does not exempt private companies hiring. I ask them, how did they get their law degree? They do not know the state constitution, the federal constitution. The federal constitution reads, it's the law of the land, the supreme law. It cannot be infringed. So I'm asking all you today, are you willing to make that sacrifice to protect that person next to you? To protect the ones you love? Because I can tell you right now, I am willing to die for each and every one of you here. Some people think just because I'm 17, I'm still naive. But I defeated the entire Southwood Social Justice Club in a debate, 1v7. I destroyed my principal, my vice principal. I destroyed the athletic divisor. None of them have beat me in a debate, but yet they spread these slanders and lies that we are indoctrinated, that we are crazy. I ask them now, where are they today? I'm sure some of you saw the post saying they were going to come out and protest us. Where are they exactly? I beg somebody, please, to openly debate me and let me post it on Facebook or something. Let me prove how wrong you are. It's not about being wrong, honestly. For them, it's just they don't know. And it's our jobs to educate them. Everyone knows that the root of fear is not knowing. You're scared of things you don't know, and they don't know what we're doing here today. They don't know how a firearm works, and that's scary to them. It's our job. The sole job of us is to educate those who are uneducated on this topic. And I promise you that's how we're going to start winning people over. Again, my name's Aryeh Rodi. Thank you for coming out.
Alright, next speaker is Carrie Sloan, We the Females, and after her we have Chad Heyman from the Second Amendment Organization.
He's one we had at the What's her name? Carrie Sloan. When? Most recent meeting? About 3 months ago. I recognize the name.
Didn't think I could do that, did you? So, a little windy here. So, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Carrie Sloan. I'm the founder of We the Female, and I was thrown into all of this in November. I've always been a fierce Second Amendment supporter, constitutionalist, straight constitutionalist, fundamental human right supporter. But I'm a domestic violence survivor, and is that better? Can you guys hear me okay, or do I need to talk really, really loud? Because I have a big mouth, so I know that you guys can hear me.
Aim the mic.
If you all need to hear me, I can speak up.
Just aim the
mic. I'm a fierce advocate for the Second Amendment, as well as for women who are marginalized and continually victimized by gun control laws that put us at risk. I can stand here and share my story with you all over again. A lot of you have heard it, either through speeches here in Olympia or through podcasts I've done. I'm very vocal about it through my social media outlets. I can tell you in detail how abusers manipulate the system to be allowed to continue to harass and harm women. I can give you countless testimonials of women who have come to me with their own horror of how red flag laws were used against them to take away their abilities to protect themselves. I can preach all day to the resounding cheers and support of everyone that's here today. We all know gun control laws hurt women, right? We know this. They hurt everybody. Gun rights are women's rights, that's right. Absolutely. We also know that gun control laws are a constitutional infringement. Say it with me. Gun control laws are a constitutional infringement. There have been tons of people that have been brought here today to tell you all this. I am not telling you anything that you don't already know. I can reiterate what we know is to be true, that through a voice for women that can't often speak for themselves because they're afraid, I am here to tell you about their stories. They're still in hiding or dead because the very system that has been put in place to protect them continually fails them. I can tell you that politicians and gun control activists have no business telling a woman they support women's rights when they fight for legalization that inhibits their ability to choose how they defend themselves. Yeah. So I'm not exuberant as these young kids that have been up here. So, but we know all of this, and these are all conversations that we've had, and that's literally why we're here today. So I want to take a moment, and what turns out to be kind of the theme here today that I didn't expect is I want to take a moment to shift your thinking around why we not only choose to be here, but why we need to be here. I absolutely love seeing so many people that are here today that are passionate about. I see how to write all this shit down, so y'all know. About their Second Amendment rights. But let's be honest with ourselves, and we really need to do that right now, is that all of us here, are standing in a giant echo chamber. Rather than regurgitate countless, albeit valid, points about why our Second Amendment shall not be infringed, I want to challenge everyone here to think past this and look to your cultural ideologies and your biases for a moment. I personally, within the last 6 months from entering this culture, have observed members of this community calling other members of this community derogatory, abusive names. I've heard men tell women not to worry their pretty little heads about learning how to defend themselves or understanding firearms, or, and my favorite if you know me, telling a woman who's new to choosing a firearm for self-defense to just get a revolver. Right? You hear the women out there, they know. If you're uncomfortable with that, gentlemen, it's you. Bottom line. I've listened to women from all different backgrounds assume that men who are part of this culture are misogynistic and oppressive. I've personally experienced standing with black friends and observed them dismissed when they have attempted to educate others for their reasons for supporting gun control or gun rights are different when living in urban areas. And some of those members, conversely, have turned and sequestered themselves and refused to communicate due to backlash when they attempt to reach out. Conservative and LGBTQ communities continue to fight and refuse to reach out to one another and continue to perpetuate division with the no-compromise attitudes about their lifestyle choices. So, as I'm saying all of this to you, and if it's making you a little bit uncomfortable, that's a good thing. Because I ask you to all take a moment and look around you. Look at everybody that's here. All of the people that are here today, representatives from all of these backgrounds, have one vital thing in common. All of us are here because we want to be safe. We want our families, our friends, and our communities to be safe. We all clearly understand this is a fundamental human right we are born with, and when our forefathers wrote the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, they were guaranteeing this human right would be protected. And they understood, next page, not only was the Second Amendment vital for self-defense, it was literally the difference between life or death for the rest of the fundamental human rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they understood that the ability to take up arms against those that would threaten these God-given rights was absolutely necessary. So rather than stand here pontificating about our right to bear arms, I come to every one of you asking that you take a moment and realize we have a greater enemy to our freedoms than the right-wing Christian, the trans woman, the gay couple, those of ethnic origins that are different from your own, or the feminist, and yes, I'm a feminist. If you want to talk about it later, come and see me. And the feminist who is tired about being silenced about assault and abuse. The real enemy is a broken and manipulative system that is using every single resource available to divide us. They exploit our ignorance and our fear of one another and have successfully used it as a way to perpetuate chaos and division. What they are truly afraid of isn't armed citizens. They are terrified of those armed citizens realizing their intentions of control, united with passion and power to collectively take back the system that has slowly been taken, or in some cases denied, to American citizens for decades or even centuries could possibly happen. If we continue to squabble amongst ourselves because we are uncomfortable with what we don't know and in some cases willfully choose to not understand, the gun control advocates and legislators continue to galvanize and grow stronger. And make no mistake about it, that kindness that we as a culture has shown in the form of compromise, paired with the lack of unity that is exhibited in this gun community, has been taken for weakness, and it is absolutely working. So I call upon each and every one of you here today to use this as an opportunity to allow yourselves to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Reach out to those of you that you may not understand, or even like for that matter, and realize that we have one common goal, and that common goal is our fundamental human and God-given right to protect ourselves. Change doesn't happen when we preach to the choir. It won't happen going to a college campus and trying to convince people that have already decided not to listen to you before you even arrive. And it is sure as hell not going to happen sitting your fat asses behind a keyboard with your hashtags. Change begins right here, right now. It begins with every one of us. It begins with a conservative Christian reaching out to that trans person, and that trans person being patient while that ultra-conservative looks past their personal opinions. It begins with the white man listening to why urban America is suffering and killing themselves, and the black man realizing that the white man he is talking to may not have ever been actually given the opportunity to understand their culture, and they aren't all racist. Yeah, y'all need to be cheering for that shit. That's all I'm gonna say. This change also begins when the men here are willing to listen to the women and the violent survivors, not as less than them, needing to be protected or helped. And for these women to accept and understand that not all men are misogynists.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Most importantly, that change comes from how we unify and speak with our vote. Not at the national level, but locally. City councils, mayors, state representatives. These are all attainable offices to effect change in the system that will create a butterfly effect to shift legislation at the state and federal level, because none of these people want to lose their meal ticket. Because that's really what this is about. It is up to all of us, we the people, to realize we do not have to accept what we have as lawmakers. They are our representatives, not our leaders. I implore you all here today to begin thinking past your personal party lines and shift your thinking and your voice, and to not be afraid to remove these legislators that do not represent you. Your rights and the rights of the generations to come are depending on us. And it all starts here today. Thanks. All right, getting down is going to be a little bit harder.
That's right, give it up for Carrie. A week ago today marked the 20-year anniversary of the Columbine shooting. It's an event that changed the way that we look at a lot of things. It's the way we look at security in schools now. It's the way we look at bullying. It's the way that we look at whether a minor has access to firearms or not. And a week ago, 20 years ago, I was a school teacher. And as I left my school, I got the call from my mom that my cousin, Rachel Joy Scott, had been killed in the Columbine shooting. I had a lot of emotions that day. I grew up hunting. I grew up with firearms. I was not a big gun advocate, but I had some decisions to make and some things to think about. See, Rachel was left without breath in her lungs because she was shot with a firearm. But realizing that the firearm that used to shoot her had no evil intent. Right? It was the evil intent of an individual. Those two young men had actually planned to blow up the school. They had bombs planted that didn't go off. Firearm wasn't even their first choice. But when the bomb didn't work, they resorted to firearms. For me, I had to look at that and decide, which side am I on here? And where do I stand on this? See, a lot of people wanted me to take the stand against firearms and tout that because I lost a family member. But what I realized is that it was the violence was horrific, but it wasn't the firearm. And so I became more involved in firearms. I am a hunter and now an advocate for the Second Amendment. I'm an NRA firearms instructor. I'm a firearms store owner. And get this, I'm from Arizona. So why am I here in Washington?
Thank you.
See, when that's right. And when I heard about the March for Our Rights, I was excited to be able to come and speak. Because I live in Arizona that is has the least amount of firearm restrictions. In fact, if it's legal to own, you can carry it. It's constitutional carry state. We have the lowest gun violence. We have the lowest gun crime. But the reason I'm here is because of 1639 and the laws that are becoming across the desks of your politicians here in Washington. And I want you to know that it does affect other states. It does affect us. When I let some of our team know that I was coming, there were some that said, "Why are you going to waste your time going to Washington? It's a lost battle." Exactly, and that's why I'm here, because it's not a lost battle. It's not the final nail on the coffin. Thank you. I'm from Arizona. I'm freezing, by the way. Thank you. But we do have the ability to change our climate. And every law that's passed here that infringes on us affects the other states. Because people move from here to Arizona. And we have a lot of Californians that are moving to Arizona and bringing their politics with them.
Go back to Cali.
Exactly. So what I've become interested in is changing the conversation. And as a gun store owner and teaching ladies how to shoot and kids how to shoot, I'm more interested in the conversation of safety and responsibility. Because with every right comes responsibility. And we have to be responsible gun owners and show the world, show the United States that we are responsible with the rights that we've been given. See, our constitutional rights are bipartisan. It has nothing to do with politics. It's being used against us. But some of it is simply because we don't police our own. And so that's what I'm asking you to do today, is police your own. If you see someone negligent with a firearm or doing something that's stupid, speak up. Do something about it. Don't let the left side come and do it for us. We can take care of our own. We can police our own.
We can lock up our own guns where they need to be locked up. We can start the conversations now. See, as Carrie said, the majority of the people just want to be safe, and that's what we want. But here's the problem, is we've used that word in the wrong connotation. We've made gun-free safe zones. They're not safe, they're targets. If you live in Arizona, I give you a free CCW class if you're a school teacher. We can start the conversations now. See, as Carrie said, the majority of the people just want to be safe, and that's what we want. But here's the problem, is we've used that word in the wrong connotation. We've made gun-free safe zones. They're not safe, they're targets. If you live in Arizona, I give you a free CCW class if you're a school teacher. I want you to be trained. I want you to have education and knowledge, because that's where we change the conversation. Take someone that's never shot before to the gun range. Let them put it in their hand and shoot, because I'm pretty sure when you see that big smile come across their face, they're going to be on your side tomorrow. Get to the ranges. Yesterday, I'm here in Washington, so what I do, we went to the gun range. And I was kind of sad to say that it was pretty empty. Not a whole lot of people in there. They should be full. There should be wait lines, because everybody wants to get in there and bring in their friends to shoot. Get educated. Learn the Constitution. As you heard earlier, that some of the Constitution is being changed in our textbooks. It's not even correct. Say it louder. Check the Constitution. Read it. Learn what it's about. So we can complain and pretend that it's Washington's fault that we're at where we're at. But it comes back down to us. How many of you are registered voters here? I met a guy yesterday, he's a firearms instructor, and I told him I was here from Arizona to be here, and he said, I'm not going to be there tomorrow, and I was like, oh great, here we go, what's his big deal? His thing was, he had a stack of voting cards, and he was going to a gun show to try to get people to vote. That's what we need. Let's get out there and make a difference. I appreciate you guys all being here. I wanted to be here, part of this too, to encourage you. But you know what? Let's get every one of us voting. There's a whole generation that's getting ready to be voters in the 2020 election. That's the target audience right now that we need to be hitting. So let's make a difference and change things right now. Find out what these politicians believe. And you know what? If you can't find them, then some of you need to step up and be those politicians. Thank you for letting me be here. I'm excited. I'm fighting for you guys. Join us over at our booth. Look forward to seeing you.
Next up, we have the founder of Patriot Prayer, Joey Gibson.
All good crowd today. How you guys doing today? Can you hear me okay? Yes. Alright, this mic's kind of weird today. Alright. So, one of the reasons why we come together like this, one of the main reasons why we do this and have these rallies is so that we build brand new freedom activists, because that's what we need in this country. Otherwise, what's the point of coming together? Because one freedom activist is worth thousands of extra votes. Do you understand that? It's very important. You have to take this seriously, what's happening in the state of Washington. And I believe there's going to be some new activists that come out of here today from this rally. And so I got a message for you. I've learned a lot in the last couple of years. And so I want to give you some advice on some of the things that I've learned. Okay, and I ask that you guys listen with an open heart and an open mind. The first thing that I want to say, I am absolutely convinced that the only way that we can have positive change in the state of Washington, the only way that we can have positive change in the United States of America in a way, a long enough time so it will sustain itself, is through God. It is the only way. It is the only way. I'm 100% convinced because of what I've seen and what I've been through. And I'm not saying that we need to convert this entire country. I'm not here to convert anybody. What I'm saying is that everybody here and everybody in the state of Washington who follow Jesus, you got to use your faith in God, use your faith in Jesus to make change in your community, to make change in the state of Washington. Can I get an amen? One of the biggest problems that we have in the Christian community is that too many people have believed that the goal is to just keep your head down, don't say anything, don't cause too much trouble, right? Just don't sin, and then you die and get to go to heaven. Basically, just sleep through life. That is not the point of faith. The point of faith in God is to use that to build things such as courage, to build things such as passion and conviction. Use that to build wisdom so you can go out in your communities and to make real change. So one of the things that faith does for you, and this is the message I want to send to you guys. The thing that faith does is it builds real courage, real strength. Where do you think our forefathers had the courage to go up against the most powerful military in the world? Okay? Where'd that come from? It came from faith, because they were on a divine mission. They didn't care about whether they were going to die. They didn't care about what the outcome was. They wanted to do what is right because of their faith in God. Listen, you have to understand, we are outnumbered, we are outgunned, we are outfinanced. Okay? The politicians are against us. The judges are against us. The media is against us. 50% of the population is against us. 40% is just sleeping and brainwashed. Okay? We stand no chance by ourselves. None. We have to build that faith in God to fight for freedom in the United States of America. That's exactly. Who can stand against you? That's exactly right. Nobody.
Who can be against us?
That's right.
No one. No
That's right.
king but King Jesus.
Amen. Here's what's going to happen. If we have anybody here today who's going to jump into being a freedom activist, okay, you got to use your faith in God, because there's going to be times where it's hard. People will backstab you. People will attack you. That's how you find the courage to stand alone and to stand up for what is right. To have a voice when everybody else is around you making fun of you, trying to cut you down, calling you names, calling you racist. That strength to continue on that I've had has only come from God. And so I encourage each and every single one of you, all of you new activists out here, all of you who want to get involved, I ask that every step that you take because you feel like that's the step that God asks you to take, right? Not because it's popular, not because you want to get votes, not because of anything other than you believe it's to be right. Okay, can I get an amen? This is the thing that I begin to understand, is that the media and people around you are always going to try to control you, always going to try to make fun of you so that you do what they want, okay? We're not here to do what the world wants. That's not why we're here. We're here to be the minority, the few. That's where 3% came from. The few who's willing to sacrifice everything for you guys, for your children, for your grandchildren. Those are the people who change the world. You got to use your faith. Listen, it is with your faith, that is what will allow you to move mountains, and that's what it's going to require for us to change this country. That's right. Now, people ask me this question all the time. They say, hey, Joey, usually they're atheists, sometimes they're Christians, but they say, Joey, how do you justify following Jesus and being such a huge Second Amendment advocate, okay? Now, turn the other cheek and look what Jesus did. He pretty much gave himself up, and he sacrificed everything for all of us. One of the most beautiful sacrifices in the history of this world, and I thank him every day for what he did. It was a beautiful thing, okay? And you have to understand, he was alone. He was alone. They were spitting on him. They were making fun of him. They were assaulting him. Horrible day, but he did it for you guys. So I understand there are times where sacrificing your life for other people, turning the other cheek, is absolutely appropriate. I've done it numerous times, trust me, and I believe in it. But let me explain something to you. If a criminal breaks into my house and is trying to hurt or rape or do anything evil to my children, I will not hesitate for a second to put that animal down. To stop that evil. As a follower of Jesus, I understand the fact that if it wasn't for all the rifles and the random houses around in this country, okay, if it wasn't for that fact, someone like Hitler would have already taken over and caused massive genocide, killed millions of people in this country. Without the rifles, someone like Stalin would have already taken over and starved millions of us to death without even blinking an eye. So yes, as a follower of Jesus Christ, I believe it is very important that we keep the power to the people, to the normal people, and away from the elitists. Away from the elitists. For whatever reason, the elitists seem
to always end up being evil and bad dudes, okay? I don't want them to control us. I want us to be in control of them. Do you hear that? Now, and I'm gonna finish off with this, and this is very important. I really hope that you guys take this to heart, okay? I've been thinking about this for the last couple weeks, okay? If you're somebody here today and you have not been too involved, you have not participated very much, but you got the goosebumps, right? You got that hair sitting on the back of your neck, standing up. You got that feeling in your heart right here. I'm gonna explain to you this feeling. It feels like when you're going down a roller coaster, okay? That feeling in your heart, that is a fire, and that is God talking to you and asking you to get involved. Okay? So I'm asking you, if you have that feeling, I'm asking you, do not wait. Do not wait for next year. Do not wait for next month. Don't even wait for tomorrow. Today, make a commitment to yourself that you will fight for this country. And when you make that commitment, you give everything that you've got. All your passion, all your fire, all your work, everything within you to fight for this country. And it does not matter if we win or we lose. Let me explain this to you. It does not matter. Because if we give everything that we got and we still lose this country, we are going to go down swinging. We're going to go down swinging. This is the way that I think. This is the way that I think. I'm going to fight to win. I'm going to fight to the very end and to give everything that I got. Because remember, win or lose, God is watching. God is watching, so give everything that you got. Take all your problems, take all your fear, take all your insecurities, take all your excuses, get rid of them, and get involved, and let's save this country, okay? I hope you take that to heart, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you so much for everybody that's been, we have people who've been fighting for this country for decades, been fighting for freedom. We need more help now, okay? We need more help, okay? You guys have a great day. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Joey. Next up, we have U.S. Senate candidate Keith Swank.
Good afternoon. My name is Keith Swank, and I'm running for the United States House of Representatives in the 8th Congressional District. The 8th Congressional District includes parts of King and Pierce County and all of Kittitas County, Chelan County. It runs from the foothills of Mount Rainier to the Columbia River, and it includes thousands of law-abiding gun owners.
Clean up King County!
So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm an Army Airborne Infantry veteran. Thank you. And I'm a veteran commander of the Seattle Police Department. I'm a captain there. I've been there for 29 years. I'm a Christian, pro-life, pro-gun, constitutional conservative. First and foremost, I'm a patriot. I'm a real patriot. And I guess that makes me a deplorable. The federal government is responsible for the security of our nation, and that means allowing citizens to be able to protect themselves. With our porous borders, it's even more important that we be able to protect ourselves from the violent drug cartels and gang members flooding into our country. Right now, MS-13 is in every state, and they are killing our children, and the drugs are killing our children. And let me tell you, police can't be everywhere. And when seconds count, a 5-minute response by us won't help. The Second Amendment was written to give us the ability was not written just to give us the ability to hunt and protect our families. The founders understood that was a given. The Second Amendment was written as a check and balance against the federal government, so the federal government could not impose its will on the citizens, as England had tried to do to us. All we need to do is look back at history and see what happens when a government confiscates guns from citizens. In 2018, I ran for United States Senate and finished third in the primary. But that was because of the help of groups, Second Amendment activist groups such as Washington 2A Facebook. That's what helped us finish in the top 3, because gun owners vote. Many of us spoke out against Initiative 1639, but not enough gun owners acted with urgency. Now the anti-gunners believe that they have a mandate for gun control, and they're working on anti-gun legislation right now as we speak, right here in Olympia. President Trump cannot protect the Second Amendment by himself. He took us out of the UN Small Arms Treaty, but he cannot save the Second Amendment by himself. We need to act. Gun owners need to vote. Thousands of us did not vote in 2018. Everybody out here, you need to join pro-gun groups and donate to pro-gun groups that defend the Second Amendment. If you don't know of groups like that, think of the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, Save Our Security, National Association of Gun Rights, and yes, the NRA-ILA. You need to give them money. The NRA is losing money, and the President, Oliver North, is stepping down because they need to get somebody in there to raise money. We need to give money to pro-gun groups so that'll help us fight this infringement of our Second Amendment. And we need to face it. Electing candidates to support unalienable rights takes money. It's the necessary evil of politics. So I'm challenging everybody here today that before you leave, no matter how much money you have, $1, $5, $500, stop by a booth, see somebody who's running for office, and give some money to their campaign. Because all of us that are here today stand up for the Second Amendment. People like me have been wearing uniforms for all our life defending America. We're defending it in the Second Amendment for you, and we need your help. Democrat presidential candidates are talking about gun control executive orders when they're elected. We cannot allow them to win. If you think we have an assault on the Second Amendment right now, wait until a Democrat takes over the White House. We need to work diligently. There's no such thing as compromise. Compromise to anti-gunners means gun owners giving up your inalienable rights. And lastly, anti-gunners are trying to pit gun owners against each other. I've heard other people speak about this. They describe some guns as bad or dangerous or assault weapons. So let me tell you, whether you have a muzzleloader, a .22, a deer rifle, or an AR, we all need to stand united together. Because after they come for the ARs, they'll come for our deer rifles, they'll come for our .22s, and then they'll take our muzzleloaders from us. They won't stop until only the government has guns. So in conclusion, you deserve to be able to protect yourself and defend your family and others. That's why it's so important we stand united for the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment ensures that we continue to have the rights granted by God, and it protects all other amendments. Once the Second Amendment is gone, the others will soon follow. Remember, an armed society is a polite society. An armed society is a free society. And an armed society is a safe society. My name's Keith Swank. I'm running for United States Congress, the 8th Congressional District. You can learn more about me and all my positions at KeithSwankForAmerica.com. God bless you. God bless America.
Next up we have Brad Clippert from the 2nd District, I think it says. 8th District.
Hello, Americans! Hello, freedom fighters! I am State Representative Brad Clippert from Kennewick, Washington. I carry 2 documents with me to guide me as I serve you as a member of the House of Representatives. 1, my Constitution. Anybody else out there love their Constitution? Also, I carry with me my Bible because I'm a God-fearing, Bible-believing man. Anybody else out there a God-fearing, Bible-believer? I am also Colonel Clippert, commander of the Washington State Guard. Let me hear all the veterans out there. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your willingness to fight for freedom. I got 2 other legislators waiting for me. We got to be back on the floor in 10 minutes.
heard you sing the national anthem. Have you said God bless? Have you sang God Bless America yet today? Will you sing it with me right now? Here we go. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless America.
So my name is Senator Phil Fortunato. This year, I ran a bill that said, if you want to draft gun legislation, you have to be a gun safety officer, you have to be a NRA instructor, you have to pass the Criminal Justice Training Commission, you have to do all of that stuff in order just to draft legislation. And that's because these people haven't the faintest idea what guns are all about. The original bump stock ban, if you read the original bill, it said it would ban trigger modification devices. I said, I spent $200 so I could pull my trigger faster. I go, it banned firearms that used recoil to cycle. Now what I pointed out, that this was every semi-automatic firearm, they responded, what does recoil have to do with semi-automatic firearms? Now these are the people that are drafting your gun legislation. They haven't the faintest idea what they're talking about. So a few days ago, I got an email from the League of Women Voters. Now, the League, in case you don't know, the League of Women Voters used to be a well-respected organization, and now I'm putting them in the category of a total whack jobs. Not only do they come in and testify on crazy stuff on environment like they're some kind of experts, but everyone here today is in a hate group. They sent out an email and said they were concerned about citizens that oppose 1639. And because 1639 was the law, people passed it. I said, well, so my response was, you know, people pass unconstitutional laws all the time. I go, that's why it's in the courts now. That's why we're challenging it. So what the League of Women Voters is supposed to do is, quote, protect democracy. I go, and you're infringing on our right to defend ourselves. I go, our state, if you haven't read our state constitution, it is even stronger than the federal constitution. It says, your right shall not be impaired. And if 1639 isn't an impairment to our rights, I don't know what the heck is. So, we got to all get back out there on the Senate floor and vote no on all this crazy stuff. So, I'm going to say, God bless the United States of America, and God bless Donald Trump.
Does anybody here love America? Can I hear that? I love it. So I'm Tom Dent. I'm a state representative from Moses Lake. And I was part of helping put this together. And I'm so glad to see so many people. But next year we're going to have 3 times as many people. And you guys are going to help us get them there, right? Right on. So I want to ask you, I want to talk a little bit about, and I don't have much time because we have to be back, but The United States of America is a republic, right? The republic. And a republic is a nation of laws. We're a nation of laws, and that's what we are here. Now that's what we're here to do today. We're going to talk about our constitutional rights. That's why we're here. That's what it's about. We're a nation of laws, and we don't want to forget that. Now I serve you in the House of Representatives as well as some of the other folks you've just heard. But you know what we do on the first day? Every time that we've been re-elected, on the first day we take an oath of office. And that's really, really important. And I want to read that oath of office to you. It's pretty short. Because then I want you to take that back, and I want you to hold anybody that works for you. We're all going to take a similar oath of office, and I want you to hold them accountable to that. Okay?
Accountability.
All right, Tom Dent, do hereby affirm that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington, and I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of my office, of the Washington State Representative to the best of my ability. Does that work for you guys? You hold me accountable to do that. That's what your job is, and every other person that's elected, you hold them accountable. That's what we do. And I have to stand up for laws that maybe I don't believe in, but we're a republic, and we can work at changing those. But you know what? Our constitutional rights are there. They are laws, and we can stand up for them, and that's fair. Thank you very much for putting up with me, and God bless you. And I want to introduce, we have a senator here that wants to speak to you, Senator Randy Becker.
Hey, I wanted to come up and say I'm so glad to be here and glad you guys are here. And a little while ago we had a bill on the floor about our concealed weapons and the things that we're going to have to do, and I stood up and voted no. I'm going to continue to vote no. I will always vote no to protect our Second Amendment rights. What they're doing is taking away not only the men's rights, but the women's rights to protect themselves. And ladies, stand up for everything you can. And I ended it with saying I'm a gun-toting mama, and you're not taking my gun away.
And I'm Senator Judy Warnick, Tom Dent's my seatmate, and I stand with Randy Becker. I also have a concealed weapons permit. I voted against a bill that would not only take away guns from a perpetrator, but they would take the guns away from a homeowner in their own homes if there's domestic violence. We are not going to protect our own women in their own homes under this new law. We are fighting for you, we're standing for you, and standing for all the women in Washington State. So thank you for being here.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Chris Gildon, one of your representatives from the 25th Legislative District, which is Puyallup area. I'm a 23-year veteran Army officer with 5 deployments overseas. Fully support the Second Amendment. I tell you what, in all of my time deployed overseas, everyone there that I was with was carrying some type of a weapon. It was a pistol, a rifle, a machine gun, a grenade launcher, or something like that. And I tell you what, I never saw any type of violence from those weapons that was not intentional. Weapons don't create violence, people do. You're right, your Second Amendment rights are sacred rights, and we will fight to protect them day and night. Thank you all for coming here today.
Hey! How we doing? Yeah, well, I try to stay out of there. And thankfully we had, so first of all, my name's Chris Corey. I'm a state representative for the 14th District. And I'm one of your citizen legislators. And never let us forget that we are citizen legislators, not the other way around. That is very important. Washington was founded on very strong
abhorrence to abhorrence. Sorry, we got out a little late last night. Upholding very strongly to our constitutional rights, and not only our U.S. constitutional rights, but our state constitutional rights, which are even stronger because the people of the state of Washington, when they founded our great state, knew that the tyranny of the majority was brutal and that we needed to protect our individual rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So, I'll tell you, I live in God's country. I live in Yakima. Do we have anybody from Central Washington? Oh, we can do better than that. All right, well, at least they're waving at me. We live in God's country, and we're going to continue to fight to protect it. And you have a lot of great allies in there that have your back, that are going to fight for you, but we need your help. You cannot be silent. You need to stand up. You need to protest. You need to show that we have peace through strength, and that the power is with us, not with them. So keep fighting, and it goes from the local level up. Everything we do here matters, but what you do in your community matters even more. So thank you for coming out. We really appreciate your support. God bless you all, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Hey, good afternoon, folks. I'm Doug Erickson. I am the state senator for Whatcom County. Anybody here? Now, I know I don't always dress like a senator because I don't always consider myself to be a politician. I consider myself to be a person who was elected to represent the Constitution in Olympia. And that's what I do. Now, I'm going to say a couple of radical things here today. So for all my good friends on the far left in the Communist Party and the Socialist Party, get your cameras ready because I'm going to say a couple of radical things to y'all right now. And if I could find out which camera I'm supposed to look into, where are they? Because they could just point it up so I could look at those crazy radicals, so I could look at them and tell them I support the Constitution of the United States of America. I support the Bill of Rights. I support the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, all the way down to the 10th Amendment that was included in the Bill of Rights of the United States of America. All I want to say is those amendments were not meant to protect the government from the people. They are meant to protect the people from the government. And that's why we are out here today to defend our rights as citizens. And that is why we are here. And to my good friends in the Communist Party and the Socialist Party who are trying to take over our country, who are trying to infiltrate what was once a proud political party, the Democrats, that was once a good party in America. Back in the day when they supported working people and they supported jobs and they supported America, they were good, but they are now being taken over by the radical far left. Evil. They want open borders. They want to confiscate your money that you work for. Last night in the House of Representatives, the Republicans fought till 6 a.m. to fight off tax increase after tax increase after tax increase. So say thank you to those people who fought, because I believe you also have a constitutional right to keep the money that you work for. That is what you do. The sweat and toil that you put into your life should not be taken by the government, and the government deciding how much they will let you keep. It is the right of the citizens to make money, and then for us to decide how much we will give to the government to do what is necessary. And what is not necessary are these laws that they try to put in place to come take away the guns of law-abiding citizens of Washington State. That is absolutely wrong. You have a right to defend yourself. The most fundamental right you have as an American, as a person, not even as an American, but as a human being, is to protect you and your family from violence. And so when that person comes into your house at 3 in the morning to rob you, to do whatever they want to do, you have the right to be able to meet that person with overwhelming force to let them know they are not welcome in your castle. That is the place that you live, the place you get to defend. Never let a government, bureaucrat, politician, member of the other party come in and tell you you do not have the right to defend yourself. You do not have the right to have that gun to protect your family. You have the right to keep and bear arms in defense of yourself and defense of your family. And that's what it's all about. So let's fight hard. Let's stand up for the Constitution. I know it's a radical concept for people who seem to not like America very much. Let's stand up for our Constitution. Let's stand up for your rights. Let's get to work to elect people who support you. I love seeing the Donald Trump sign over here. I love seeing Trump 2020 because I got to tell you, well, I did work for President Trump, and he is an interesting, unique character, and he speaks in a very unique fashion directly to the people of America. But look at what he is saying, because I love this guy. He is saying he is defending you. He is defending your rights. He is standing up for America and what makes America great. And you are the people who will help us make America great again, keep America great, and let's get to work making Washington State great again also. Thank you for being here today, everybody.
If you guys have time, don't just leave after the event. Go inside. The legislators are in there. They're going to be voting. Doesn't even matter if it's not your district. Just talk to anyone. You know, let them know you believe in the Second Amendment. You want them, you know, and we don't want taxes either, okay? So not just Second Amendment, but they're going to be voting on taxes. So don't just leave. We're here now. The building is open, so I really encourage anybody who can. The next speaker is Tim Schmidt of the United States Concealed Carry Association.
Okay, wow. Thank you, everyone. As the young lady just said, my name is Tim Schmidt. I'm the president and founder of the United States Concealed Carry Association, the USCCA. All right, thank you. Oh, jeez. There goes my notes. Thank you. So yes, I traveled 1,600 miles this morning to come to speak to you folks. Now, you're probably thinking, hey, I'm honored to be here. You're probably thinking, Tim, why in the heck would you come all the way from Wisconsin to come to Washington? Well, there's over 8,000 USCCA members in Washington State alone, and USCCA is all about education, training, and legal protection for the folks that carry responsibly, and ultimately when you're forced to defend your loved ones, you're going to need some deep legal pockets, and that's what we do. So, I gotta tell you guys, some crazy things, especially going on right now here in Washington, which is another reason that I'm here, is that right now the USCCA is under 2 investigations by your state insurance commission trying to kick us out of the state, which is, yeah, right? Which I think is really too bad, which is another reason I wanted to come out here. But the real reason I wanted to be here, folks, is I want to share a few stories with you, because I really believe that the stories that we tell are the best way to convince folks to see things from our perspective. So I want to tell you about a USCCA member named David Jackson. Now, this guy is just like you or I. He carries a gun every single day, despite the fact that his family tells him, David, you shouldn't carry a gun. Why do you do that? Even his father would say, David, why do you carry that gun? Well, let me tell you what, on January 2016, David walked into a barber shop with his 2 young sons and his girlfriend, and thank goodness he had his gun on him that day. Because shortly after he walked in there, 2 thugs come in, one with a handgun and the other guy with a shotgun. And they pointed the guns and they demanded money. And David relayed the story to me. He said, Tim, time literally stood still. I can't tell you what it felt like to have a gun pointed at your head. And I stammered it. I said to the guy, I said, please don't shoot. My children are here. Well, I'll tell you what, by the grace of God, and thanks to David's good training and a ton of courage, he was able to use his concealed carry handgun, shoot one of the bad guys. They both fled the place. David saved the day. Now, I guarantee you that as those 2 criminals were running away from that barbershop, I promise you that they thought in their head, oh my goodness, we totally underestimated the power of the responsibly armed American. And that's right, guys, the power, because there's only one language that criminals understand, and that's the fear of force. They understand the fear of force. And there's a lot of people who don't understand this, but when only 10% of any community is willing to be their family and friends' first line of defense, an amazing thing happened. The criminals now don't know who has a gun, and crime goes down. And when only 10% of you are willing to carry a gun and defend your family, the remaining 90% of that same community enjoys that huge benefit of reduction in crime. Now I look out here across this lawn and I see all of you, and I realize you guys have already made that decision to be that 10%. You're willing to be that 10% and to create that community-powered self-defense. But I got a question for you. Do all your family and friends and your acquaintances, do they truly understand where you stand, where you believe, and how you feel about this? Are you sharing the stories? Because if you're not sharing the stories, that's part of the problem. And when I say sharing the stories, I'm not talking about standing up here screaming, hey, it's my right. I mean, yes, it is your right. It's a God-given right. But that's not the best way to change people's minds. The way you do it is to tell your story. Now, I believe that every single one of you that I'm looking at right now, you guys have a gift. And that's the gift of a heart of a protector. That's a gift from God. That's a great thing that you've been given. But with that gift of a heart of a protector comes a significant responsibility. And that responsibility is to share your story. I want to read a quote here. Good thing I kept these notes. So this is Ephesians 4:1. I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. So with that heart of your protector, I urge you to make a commitment today. I want you to make a commitment today that you're going to go out and you're going to share your story. You're going to explain to your friends and relatives why it's so important to stand up for your right, your natural-born right to self-defense. Because then, that's when we'll be able to make a significant impact in this country and turn things around the way they really should be.
Yeah!
So folks, I want to end today with one of the most powerful quotes I've ever read, and I think it really talks to the importance of rallies like this. It's from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world, because it's the only thing that ever has. Hey guys, thank you very much. Thanks for listening to me. It's great to be here. All you USCC members that came out, I really appreciate it. And we're gonna get this thing squared away with your crazy insurance commissioner. Probably wasn't supposed to say that, but oh well. All right, thank you very much.
All right. Again, I want to just say thank you guys for coming out. And we got a few more speakers left. And now I'd like to introduce Anthony Welty. He's running for the insurance commissioner position here in Washington State. Again, give him a round of warm affection here. And come on up.
That was a great lead-in with the last speaker there and that insurance commissioner doing some pretty crazy stuff. I just want to start off by saying something that I think is important, because in politics are often dirty, oftentimes angry, sometimes for righteous reasons, sometimes not so much. But I just want to start by saying that I love everybody that is here today. Some of us are here in full agreement on every issue we're talking about, and there were a few protesters as well. And I think if we stay rooted in love, even for the opposition, that we keep our hearts in check on this, that we'll move things the right direction. So we live in the most charitable country on earth, and I am proud to be here with each and every one of you today. My name is Anthony Welty. I'm running for Washington State Insurance Commissioner in 2020. I'm running for office because I respect you. I respect that our lives are different. And I respect that we likely want different things for our lives. I respect you to the point that I don't want to force my ideals or my morals upon another individual. I want to come clean about something real quick here as I struggle with this microphone in the wind. There we go. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a gun owner. I used to be a Democrat. And then I got tired of the bullshit politics that we're seeing day in and day out. I got tired of getting poked in the chest and being told what to do and being told that I was a bad guy for believing the things that I believe and trying to raise my family in the only way that I know how. I'm a libertarian. Now, I know there's some preconceived notions on what a libertarian is, and trust me, I've heard all the jokes, and it's okay. I forgive you. I don't take it personal. But I want to set the record straight for a moment here on what a libertarian is. The following statement is the preamble to our statement of principles as a political party. This comes before our platform because we hold it more dear to our principles than just whatever a platform says that we're supposed to say. As libertarians, we seek a world of liberty, a world in which all individuals are sovereign over their own lives and are not forced, keyword forced, to sacrifice their values for the benefit of others. We believe that the respect for individual rights is the essential precondition for a free and prosperous world. And that only through freedom can peace and prosperity be fully realized. Consequently, we defend everybody's individual rights to engage in any activity that is peaceful and honest. And we welcome the diversity that freedom brings. The world we seek to build is one where individuals are free to follow their own dreams in their own ways without government coercion or authoritarian power over their lives. See, for me, I believe in the non-aggression principle. I believe in not harming another human. I believe in live and let live. Those basic principles that we teach our kids, but don't often carry over in our own daily lives. I also believe in penalties. I believe in penalties for those that inflict violence or aggression on others. I believe in penalties for those criminals that use guns to harm other people. I believe in a just court system. The Constitution states only one thing 2 different times. The 5th and the 14th Amendments both state that no one shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. This central promise is an assurance that all levels of government are held accountable to, and that they must operate within the law and fair procedures. With that, I also believe in jury nullification. For those that you don't know, jury nullification is when a juror returns a verdict of not guilty, even if written laws are effectively being broken in some way or another. The jury, in effect, nullifies a law that they believe is immoral or unconstitutional. Despite the indoctrination that the judicial branch holds the sole power to interpret these laws, the power to decide who is or is not guilty lies with we, the people. We have the power to nullify unconstitutional laws is the last line of defense against an out-of-control government. We have the highest incarceration rate in the entire world, many for victimless crimes. The majority are marginalized communities of African Americans and Hispanics. We can use jury nullification to keep people out of cages that have not harmed anybody else. We are tasked with controlling our government, not letting our government control us. Now, I'm running for Washington State Insurance Commissioner in 2020, and many of you might have heard that the incumbent insurance commissioner recently banned an NRA-branded insurance policy, a liability policy meant to help gun owners. He said on January 15th, he stated, "The attempt to insure a criminal act is a ripoff."
All right, good. So, who here is about the Second Amendment? Who here agrees with the Second Amendment? Everybody? Everybody? Okay, so can I get a chant from you guys real fast? Let's wake up, let's do a chant. Let's get back into the vibe of things, okay? Pro 2A, 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 Pro 2A. Good, thank you guys. All right, so now that everybody's awake, we're back into the vibe of things where we need to be. We're awake, we're standing, we're making a stand. We need to stand up.
So I'm going to introduce, I guess my speech, I'm going to start off with a little bit of history, and then I'm going to probably transition a little bit to something else. On April 19th, 1775, British soldiers approached colony members and demanded that they turn over their firearms. What happened next was a battle for liberty named the Battle of Lexington and Concord. Who knows about Lexington and Concord? Some refer to this as a shot heard around the world. This started the Revolutionary War, which ended in us gaining our freedoms and a country of our own. We come from free men. Free men who would not be ruled. History is extremely important, and believe it or not, whatever the outcomes from any attempts to violate our Second Amendment rights here, those outcomes will also echo throughout history. We still will not be ruled, will we? We live in a state that is named after one of, if not the most influential men of all time, George Washington. Let's uphold his vision. We are on the political front lines of our country right now. This is the political front line of the United States. Let's hold our ground. So I digress. How many of you are tired of the tyranny happening in Washington State? How many? From the overabundance of taxes, to the plastic bag ban, to the mandatory vaccinations aimed at our children, the ever-broken family court system, which is why I started in politics, the governor campaigning for president at our expense, which many previous speakers have already mentioned, the Attorney General backing tyrannical and very illegal legislation, the very questionable elections. I mean, I-1639 at 58% yes? Come on. It should have never been on the ballot to begin with. How many are tired of speaking on deaf ears? Tired of our servants, elected officials, not listening to us? Tired of debating over our natural-born rights? Tired of the infractions carried out by our servants that aim to attack our fundamental Bill of Rights, that violate the state and the U.S. Constitution, that violate the oaths of office that they've taken? How many of you are tired of illegal laws? I am. Amen. We do not have to comply to illegal laws. Our founding fathers made that a reality. So how many are angry? I know I am. Thank you. Yes. Be angry. Use that anger as a motivation to take a stand. I say that it is beyond time to do something. It is beyond time to unite. It is beyond time to stand up, to do whatever it takes, to fight back by any means necessary. We need people to be knowledgeable in politics. This is how we're going to fight back. My buddy Keith Swank kind of touched on some of this. But we need people to be knowledgeable in politics. We need as many people to become politically active as possible. It is time to take our state back. I call the unconstitutional representatives the oath breakers. They have betrayed us. They have betrayed our state and our country. They have betrayed themselves and their families. They have betrayed future generations. I am running for Lieutenant Governor of Washington State, not because I want to, but because I need to. Because I am a fighter and I envision a liberated Washington, because this is our home. What should we do? What should you do? Fight. Do whatever is necessary. What will I do? Whatever it takes. I stand for us, I stand for you, for our children, and for liberty, for we the people. Will you continue to stand and fight with me? Will you continue to stand and fight? To do this, we need to unite. It can no longer be the regressives. I call them regressives. It can no longer be the regressives versus us. It has to be the oath breakers versus the people. Good versus evil. Right versus wrong. We need to educate. We We need to bring the youth back from the side of misinformation. The youth is the future, guys, as you all know. We need to hold those who misinform accountable. We need to build a united front. We need to strategize and to follow up with consistent execution. That's what they're doing. They're strategizing and they're executing consistently. We cannot just run away. We need to think multidimensionally. We need everyone to carry the torch of liberty. So this is an important part of my speech right now, guys. I'm going to ask you something. As you all leave here today, I humbly ask that you take this with you. Take with you the desire to create and to spread awareness. I always say that awareness is the key that opens many doors. Take with you a goal to reach out to others that you may not agree with. To have peaceful dialogue. To accept others as you would wish for them to accept you. Through unity lies our success. Unity secures strength, and strength ensures freedom. We need a united Washington. We are on the front lines. The whole country is watching us. They are all watching. We cannot simply move away. It will follow us. This is our home. The tyrants in other states are watching to see what happens here. What our oath breakers can and cannot get away with. How we respond. What we let them get away with. When you leave here today, take the torch of liberty with you. Help to ignite the patriotism within others. Help to ignite the patriotism with others, guys. You all can be the difference. Be that difference. United we stand, divided we fall. So that being said, if you haven't visited the booth yet, please do so. The campaign needs funds. That's just the nature of the political beast, okay? If you're able to, please donate money or time. We will need around $100,000 to fight against the incumbent's $300,000 or so for Lieutenant Governor. That sounds like a lot, but there are around 1.5 million. I want this number to soak in. There's around 1.5 million people who are going to vote for the Republican candidate in the Lieutenant Governor race in the general election. 1.5 million people. There's thousands, or probably about 1,000 or more people here right now. Okay, so if 1,000 people donated $100, we would be in great shape. If 100 people donated $1,000, we'd also be in great shape. So unfortunately, freedom isn't free. It takes resources to fight against tyranny. Anything helps and is greatly appreciated. If there's anyone that would like to endorse the campaign, I also can do that at the booth. Please visit josephforwashington.com. Let's not just talk, let's run. Let's move in solidarity in the direction of righteousness. Exactly. Always look forward to the future because it is written by you. It is written by us. Our children and grandchildren are going to inherit it. Let's continue to stand. God bless you. God bless us all. A united Washington. Brumbles for Lieutenant Governor.
All right. I'm going to welcome our final speaker here, J.P. Brown.
Hello, my fellow Americans and Washingtonians. How are you today? Oh, come on, you can do better than that. My name is J.P. Brown. I am a proud veteran of the United States Army and veteran of the Iraq War, where I served as a combat medic with the 1st Infantry Division, 2nd Battalion, 34th Armor. It was my duty and honor to serve alongside of the bravest men that I have ever met. I was amongst heroes. And I can say that I am amongst heroes today who will stand in the face of tyranny, who will stand in the open without masks, unlike the cowards who call themselves Antifa, who will stand for the privileges of freedom for those who cannot stand for themselves. I, like you, support the Constitution of the United States of America. I, like you, love this nation. And I, like you, am sick and tired of politicians putting honey in your ears and telling you what you want to hear so that they can deceive you into voting for them and getting into power. It is often said that the only thing a politician is good at is getting your vote, and that's it. Because once they are elected, the next thing on the agenda is to get re-elected. So they will tell you what you want to hear. They will tell you anything that will get them back into power. I am not that person. I will never be that person. I believe that public service is an honor and should be compulsory, meaning voluntary, for anyone that wants to serve their fellow citizens. I stand on morals, and I stand on the basics of the gospel of Jesus Christ, who said, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." Yeah. To the politicians in the building behind me and to the ones in Washington, D.C. that think that they can take the guns away from law-abiding Americans, I have one thing to say to you. Come and take them, Cupcake. When Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, they awoke a sleeping dragon, and it's often said that they thought to themselves, we can never invade the mainland because there will be a gun hiding behind every blade of grass. I would hope that the Washington, D.C. politicians and the ones behind me would heed that as well. The Second Amendment protects all other rights in the Constitution. That is not up for debate. It is not up for negotiation. There is no other right in the Constitution that has an asterisk next to it, but the politicians in Washington State would have you believe differently. I do not believe that. I believe it is a duty as a husband and a father to protect my child and my wife and my home and my property, and I would never ask another individual to forfeit those rights, and neither should you. God has blessed Washington State with an abundance of people who love freedom, who are willing to lay down their lives in pursuit and protection of that freedom, which is why we are blessed to have Fort Lewis and JBLM right at our doorstep. God bless the men and women who voluntarily signed a blank check to lay down their lives for individuals who both love and hate them, some of those who are in this crowd today. I often look at the youth of our nation and laugh because they think socialism is a good idea. They say capitalism is evil. They say that America was formed on racism and sexism and bigotry and homophobia, and in the same breath will stand for nations like Iran, where a gay man will be thrown from a rooftop in the name of God. That does not happen in America because we respect freedom, we respect love, we respect families. You cannot say that about any other nation on the face of this planet. Our laws have been set by God Himself, who divinely inspired the Constitution of the United States and divinely inspired that document we call the Declaration of Independence. King George decided to send soldiers to our doorstep, and we sent them home in boxes. I would expect no less than any freedom-loving American who loves his nation, who loves his family, and who loves his community. Which is why I say to you today that if you love your community, stand and fight for it. And I don't mean physically violent. I mean getting active in your local politics, getting active in your community. If you see a piece of trash on the ground, pick it up. If you see a man who needs a meal, give him a piece of pizza. Do something for someone else and see what this nation is all about, and that is glorifying God and glorifying our common man. To the politicians who say that conservatives and gun-loving Americans don't care about children, let me ask you a question. Who has the moral high ground? A man that is willing to step in front of a bullet to protect a child, or someone who says that murdering unborn children in the womb is a right? Don't tell me, AOC, that we don't have a problem with veteran suicides in our nation. She said this the other day, I swear to you, she said this, quote, "If it's not broke, don't fix it," in reference to our VA system.
Second chance to die for our country.
Don't tell me when a man like Joe Biden wants to run for president of the United States, who stood on the back of hardworking Americans and told them what they wanted to hear every single time and got into office. And what do you have to show for it? Where's your health care? Where's your rights? As an American citizen, it is my right to stand here and speak today to those of you who think that I'm a racist, a sexist, a bigot, a homophobe for commenting on basic biology, that God created man, male and female, he created them both. That's it, guys. That's the ball game. The left in this country suffers from an inability to accept reality, which is why they are members of the left to begin with. They want to tell your children that it's not okay to be a man in this country anymore. They call it toxic masculinity when a man wants to provide for his wife and his children. They criticize women who want to have children in the home and raise their family with God-given values. Why? Because they are afraid of the truth. And the truth is this, that if you acknowledge God's divine providence on this nation, you must acknowledge that that comes with a price. And that means sacrifice. That means duty. That means honoring the commitments you have made to your family and your friends in your community. I am an American citizen who swore an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and there was no expiration date on that oath. We have politicians in Washington State that will put priority of illegal immigrants over that of veterans suffering in the streets. And you've seen them in the parks in Olympia. If you want to know where the politicians in Olympia stand, you need only look behind you at those flags flying on the poles and see that those are not American flags that are flying, those are global flags. Why is that? Because they're afraid of offending people in this community. What kind of a community can stand when they are ashamed of the very nation that has provided them with prosperity? What kind of a community can we have if we do not embrace the things that made us great? We must empower our local citizens to stand and fight. We must empower our local citizens to stand for what is right, to call good good and evil evil, and not be afraid to do so. Together, if you leave together united, if you walk away from this rally today with anything other than motivation and joy in your heart, then you've had a good day. But as the gospel says, faith without works is dead. We can take back Washington State. We can turn Washington from blue to red, and not the communist red that they want. We're talking about conservative, God-loving, Second Amendment-loving red. Because the Democrats are comfortable. They think they run the show, and they do not run the show. If everyone here got out the vote and got 5 people registered to vote, we would rock the House. Are you with me? Are you with me? Together we can achieve this goal of turning Washington back into a conservative, God-loving, family-appreciating community. And I know that I can do it. I know that you can do it. Now, the last thing I want to say, and this is not a pitch, because I probably will not win, but that is not the reason I'm saying this today. Community action starts with you. If you are not allowed yourself to get up and fight for what you believe in, then you have wasted your time. There is an opening in Lacey in 10 days for the city council. That means that the city council is going to have a name on the ballot, and that is J.P. Brown. I am going to run for the city council. Our community leaders need to know that it's not okay to increase property taxes on poor, working-class Washingtonians. They need to know that it's not okay to prioritize vanity projects over veterans' benefits. They need to know that we as a nation can stand together and walk this nation into the future for our children and for our citizens. Together, we can make Washington strong. Together, we can make Washington State safe. Together, we can make Washington State, you know what I'm going to say, great again.